The sun was setting over the crystal-clear waters of the Caribbean Sea as the couples arrived at the exclusive island retreat. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very atmosphere itself was charged with the promise of passion and romance. Among these pairs in love were our protagonists, James and Amelia. Their connection had grown distant after years of marriage, but they were determined to rekindle their flame at this upscale resort. Little did they know that fate had a wicked sense of humor, and a surprise rendezvous awaited them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the couples gathered for a sunset cocktail party by the beach. The air was filled with the scent of sweet tropical drinks and the sounds of seductive music. It was here that James caught a glimpse of a familiar figure, their old friend Alex, who they hadn't seen in years. Alex had always been a bit of a wild card, known for his flirtatious nature and penchant for stirring up trouble. In an unexpected twist, he was now paired with none other than Amelia's best friend from college, Veronica. Unbeknownst to everyone, James and Amelia had once shared a passionate secret affair during their college days, an illicit love that burned hot but eventually fizzled out. Now, as the past seemed determined to haunt them, James couldn't help but feel an undeniable pull towards Alex and Veronica's chemistry. The night continued, fueled by alcohol and the sultry Caribbean air. As the group played a raucous game of Never Have I Ever, the tension between James and Amelia grew thicker than the humid atmosphere around them. It was clear that something had shifted in their relationship, perhaps for better or worse. As the game wound down, Alex approached James with a devilish glint in his eye. The old friends exchanged a few words before Alex leaned in close to whisper conspiratorially, "I know you're struggling with your feelings toward Veronica. And I'm thinking, why not? Let's all explore our desires tonight." James hesitated for just a moment before nodding in agreement. The three of them retreated to their private cabana, leaving behind the unsuspecting Amelia. In the dim light of lanterns strung up around the secluded bungalow, the forbidden tryst began. As James and Alex explored each other's bodies with eager hands, they couldn't help but think of the woman who had once been at the center of their own passionate love affair, the woman now unwittingly left behind. As dawn approached, they were spent and satisfied, yet tinged with a bittersweet awareness that this momentary escapade might have reawakened a long-buried flame for James, but it had also fanned the embers of desire between Alex and Veronica. Fate had intervened, tempting them all into this illicit love triangle. Back at their respective rooms, each of our protagonists found themselves grappling with their emotions. Amelia was blindsided by her husband's infidelity. Veronica discovered that her new fling with James might be more than just a passing attraction, and Alex couldn't help but feel the pull of his forbidden romance. The next day at the couple's retreat continued much as before: group activities, romantic excursions, and all the hallmarks of an upscale love getaway. Yet, beneath the surface, something had changed. The air was heavy with unspoken secrets, and the once slick dynamics between our characters were now fraught with tension. It wasn't long before the truth came bubbling to the surface. The affair that had once burned so bright between James and Amelia had been rekindled by their friends' flirtatious antics. And now they found themselves entangled in a passionate love triangle that threatened to upend everything they'd ever known about their relationships. As the sun set on their final night at the couple's retreat, each of our characters was left with a choice: continue down this forbidden path or cut ties and return to their old lives. But as the sea breeze whispered through the palm trees and the waves lapped gently against the shore, one thing remained certain: fate had a way of bringing people together in the most unexpected ways. As the last night at the couple's retreat drew to a close, James found himself alone on the beach, staring out into the dark waters. The waves crashed against the shore in a hypnotic rhythm that seemed to echo the turmoil within his heart. He couldn't help but think about the woman who had been the center of both his most fervent desires and deepest regrets, Amelia. She was now entangled in this unexpected love triangle with their old friend Alex and her college best friend Veronica, leaving James grappling with a newfound sense of longing that threatened to consume him whole. He knew he stood at a crossroads. If he were to follow the pull of his heart, it would mean risking everything for a chance at rekindling what had once burned so bright between him and Amelia. But the stakes were higher now, as their old friend's desires became inextricably intertwined with their own. Taking a deep breath, James made up his mind. He would return to the cabana where he'd first been swept up in this whirlwind of passion and temptation, seeking out the answer that had eluded him these past few days, the truth about what they all truly desired. The moment he stepped inside, he found Alex and Veronica entwined on the bed, their bodies still damp from the residue of their earlier passion. Their eyes locked with his as he stood in the doorway, and it was then that James understood. They were caught in a dance of desire that extended far beyond their own tryst. With a deep sense of resolve, James turned back to face Amelia's best friend Veronica. He looked her up and down before speaking softly yet resolutely. "I can't keep living in the shadows of our past. I need to figure out what it is I truly want. And you don't seem like an obstacle anymore, but more like a guiding light." And with that revelation, James found himself diving into uncharted territory, no longer treading water in uncertainty. He was now navigating his newfound desire with the clarity born of truth. But as fate would have its way, Amelia herself had just realized she might not be ready to let go of their past altogether. As she stood on the edge of her own precipice of awareness, she found herself wondering whether this love triangle might hold the key to saving the very foundation of her relationship with James. As they all continued to explore their desires together, one thing became clear. Fate had a wicked sense of humor indeed, but perhaps it was that exact unpredictability and uncontrollable nature that made this tempestuous journey so irresistibly thrilling. The end